Hi, this is Ryan. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, actually.
How are you?
I'm well, busy day, but, doing alright. How was your day?
Oh, also very busy. So, I don't know if you're familiar with Issues, but, we're a culture magazine,
Okay.
independent culture magazine, and we regularly interview musicians, artists, various sort of fringe characters as well.
Cool.
Through Elizabeth, I found out about your book, and I also found out from you that you're a musician, but I don't know much about your work, so if it's okay, I'll just ask you some questions, and you could talk for as long as you want. I'm recording this, so I won't have to transcribe it until later. Is that all right?
That's totally fine, yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's start with the easy questions. What is your name, and where are you?
So I go by, Abbey, Abbey. My band's name is Pope Abbey, and I also go by Abbey Pope, but so it's kind of confusing. But I'm outside Portland, Oregon.
Okay, and what's the name of your book?
Right now, the book is named Hormones and Sacrilege, and that's the working title right now, yeah.
Okay, so is it complete, or?
Yeah, well, it's not through final editing yet. But the draft is written, and I'm in editing right now.
Cool. What's it about?
So, it is. So it's somewhat autobiographical, but it's also like a. I wrote it. Sort of channeled it according to the tarot. And so each chapter is a different major arcana in the tarot. And it has to do with like magic, psychedelics. I'm transgender. And each chapter kind of jumps around, and there's a narrator, and there's also a song with each chapter as well. And really it's sort of my psychedelic trance kind of journey over the last 10-11 years. And there's all kinds of stuff, because like my transition has been like really crazy on some level.
Is it a narrative structure? Like, is it a story?
So it is. It's kind of like a grab bag of genre. So some of it's narrative, some of it's dialogue, some of it's a play, some of it's poetry, some of it's sort of like nonfiction, and it jumps around a lot with genre, really. So,
that sounds really cool, actually. So is each chapter kind of
it's written
does
in
each
the style,
chapter stay in its own genre?
Yeah, in a way, like each chapter is written in the style of the tarot card itself. So like the Fool card is sort of written from the from the perspective of the Fool. The Magician card is more like Mercury, and I do stay in genre in each chapter, and so it just varies a lot, and then so there's like It goes like 0 through 21, which is the major arcana. And then there's each chapter is named after like it's like sort of numerological as well. So there's like a 23, 47, 93, sort of these like well-known sacred numbers. So like so 93, I talk about Crowley and stuff like that.
Did you progress? Is like each chapter like, you know, if one chapter is the 3 of Pentacles, would the next chapter be the 4 of Pentacles, or is it more? How did you structure that?
Just the major arcana, so it's like the Fool, then the Magician, then the Emperor, then the Priestess, and then the Empress, and then the Emperor. There's like a specific order of just the what are called the major arcana, I guess, which are like the not the numbered cards, basically.
Right, what you'd call like face cards in a standard deck or something, like not a tarot deck, but yeah. Now, did you? What I guess what I was trying to ask is the book structured in the same order that the major arcana usually is?
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah. So it starts with the Fool, ends with the World, basically. And
so is the Fool? Okay, like for instance, what genre would you say like the Fool is in?
Fool's kind of I don't know. I guess it's prose. It's almost like nonfiction. It doesn't get to like more. So the Fool's kind of speaking in the Fool card and talking about like it's sort of written from the perspective of that person, sort of talking. But
is that person you though?
So like I say in the narrator that like the narrator will introduce the chapter and say, well, like this is more me, or this is more like a shamanic kind of channeling, or something like that.
So do you know? Are you channeling a specific entity in particular?
It's more like an archetype. But,
okay.
Yeah, in a way. In a way, it's just like archetypal. So, like, as if that archetype could talk, essentially. So, yeah.
And I guess what I'm asking is, like, is it the same archetype through the whole work, or is it different depending on chapter?
Yeah, it's different depending on chapter. So, like, some, like the Death card, super heavy. It's just, like, more heavy. Some of the cards are, like, a play. Some of the cards are, there's one that's like a press conference for like the Devil card where there's like a new devil being initiated or something, and it sort of reads like a press conference. So it's really random from chapter to chapter.
Were you originally motivated just by the idea structurally of doing the tarot deck, or is it an autobiography or what?
It's somewhat autobiographical, but it's also like a magical handbook. I call it sort of a self-unhelp book because like it's sort of like self-help, but like I kind of hate self-help. And I'm more into like Robert Anton Wilson, or like actually breaking down some of those like moralistic kind of self-improvement things. So it's kind of like self-help, but I don't know. I like Robert Anton Wilson. He's a really good writer, so it's probably like sort of like some of his stuff, like fiction and nonfiction of what he wrote. And
I'm in the middle of reading. I do an audiobooks thing on issues where I'll like read a book chapter by chapter. I'm in the middle of reading Prometheus Rising right now.
Oh, that's one of my favorite books. Yeah, that's great.
It's a great one, right?
Yeah, no, that book changed my life. I mean, like, he's one of the most, like, really, like, Robert Anton Wilson, Aleister Crowley, Discordian people. They're all like really in the vein of what I'm doing. For sure.
So, how old are you?
I'm 42.
Okay. And what started you down the kind of, fringe, Discordian, psychedelic path, would you say?
Yeah. Sure. Like, I didn't really have a lot of, like, familiarity with it until, like, 11 years ago, I, came out as trans, and then, my, like, ex-wife did not like it, and so I had to go in this huge court battle, which, like, led to, because I have kids, and she's psychotic, can't handle it, and so I experienced all this injustice, and it basically drove me off in this, like, totally separate kind of direction. I started experimenting with a lot of psychedelics, and getting exposed to, like, tarot, and I grew up in, like, the Christian church, so I went on this big, like, sort of forced on this thing, and then I just became sort of obsessed with, like, fringe spirituality kind of stuff, and,
So before the kind of incidents involving your ex-wife and your coming out, you weren't really, you hadn't been exposed to it at that point.
Not specifically, no. Like, I mean, I've been, like, vaguely exposed. I had, like, a whole life before I was 30 where I was a computer engineer, and really trying to do some sort of boring life, and then that fell apart, and I had, like, really minor kind of exposure, but not until after my 30s did I really go deep into, like, more like modern, well, really just studying all kinds of world religions, because I don't really limit myself to just, like, be, like, modern kind of Aquarian stuff, like, whatever.
So, like, was there, like, a point, would you say, when you lost your faith? Because you mentioned that you grew up with a Christian church. Were you ever a believer?
Yeah, well, my dad was a pastor, so, like, yeah, I know. So, and I was queer, and then I lived in the South, and then I lived in, like, Bakersfield, California.
Yeah.
And so, like, it was just, by the time I was 19, or, like, by the time I was a teenager, I was like, this is bullshit. But I think by the time I was, like, 17, I was already over Christianity. Like, even, like, 15, I was over Christianity. But I got a degree. I started studying philosophy, and then I got a degree in economics, and always super fascinated with philosophy. Wow. But not until after my 30s did I really get involved in more, like, magical kind of work and that kind of stuff. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, would you say that you have any spiritual beliefs, or is it more like something you play with?
I think I really do have profound beliefs, but, well, I don't like the word belief, but I know things that work for me now. So I try to not have, like, it's hard to define. I'm very much, I do believe that, like, there's a profound shift in the world, and that we really need to, like, accept it and, like, not live in the past. But on some level, I'm very much, I feel like I can be both, like, a believer and agnostic at the same time. Or, like, I don't mind thinking of myself as an atheist, but then I also have, like, shamanic kind of stuff that happens to me, and I try not to, like, really nail it down to dogma so much.
Okay. Well, let's say that you're agnostic no matter what else you are, right? So it's like you're not So it sounds like, you don't want to be a fundamentalist about anything, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, like I believe in freedom and.
But do you have practices? Would you say?
Yeah, I do. Sorry, my cat's freaking out. I do ceremonial magic. I do some like chaos magic. I do tarot. I study astrology. What's wrong with you? And
do you construct your own rituals? Holy shit!
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
What was it?
A lightning bolt just struck like fucking.
Oh,
like
wow!
1,000 feet from my house.
Oh, wow!
That was really loud. Okay, sorry about that.
What was your question?
Oh, do you you said you were into chaos magic. Do you construct your own rituals?
Yeah, I do sigil work. I do my own rituals, but then I also do like ceremonial magic too, like from like the Golden Dawn and Crowley and stuff like that.
Do you do it with
I
others?
also use my songwriting as a really ritualistic too in a lot of ways, and my performances. So art is huge. For that.
Do you ever like do rituals with others? Like in
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I was involved in some more like group things, lodges, or like, but recently I've been more solo, but sometimes I do group rituals, yeah, for sure.
Cool. So tell me about your music. What do you have any recordings available?
Yeah, I can send you my links. I write my own songs. I was trained as a singer since I was young, and I had like a lot of piano lessons, and I taught myself guitar. After my turned 30, I started writing my own songs, and I've been performing for like 6 years, and then now I have a band, and we play shows, and it's I guess it's kind of like, I don't know, I get compared to like classic rock, like Bowie or the Beatles, or like, because I like psychedelic stuff, but it's not like super stony. So it's more like pop, psychedelic rock kind of stuff.
Right.
And
are those the artists that you enjoy listening to?
I mean, yeah, like definitely those are a couple, but I have a really broad. There's like some country like influence, or like folk influence, and like Rufus Wainwright, or there's just a huge long list. But and I also like I study a lot of classical music too, so I guess some of that comes through. But I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, you studied classical music?
Well, yeah, like I grew up. I got trained in opera, and then I like was exposed to a lot of classical, choral, and orchestral stuff. What's wrong with you? You know, with that. But yeah, but I like. I mostly write. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask how long you've been playing for.
So I've been singing, playing most of my life, but as like a solo artist and a pop musician and stuff for about 6-7 years now or so, something like that. Yeah, probably more, like 7 or 8 years doing my own stuff.
What instrument do you play?
I play guitar, and when I play live, I play guitar and I sing, but I also play keyboard.
And you have a band as well?
Yeah, I have a band. We're called Pope Abbey. You can just go to popeabbey.com. POPEABBEY.com. I'll send you my but that link is like a link tree, so it goes to like Instagram and SoundCloud and all that stuff. So.
Okay, cool. I'll include the link in the interview article.
Sweet.
So
yeah, so go ahead.
I was going to ask, have you been in Portland for a long time?
I've been here for 9 years. 9 years. I'm just from LA.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
You grew up in California?
Yeah, mostly California. Moved around a lot growing up, but I consider before I moved to Portland, I was mostly from California. But I've also lived in South Carolina, Virginia, as well. So, somewhat familiar with North Carolina.
Cool. So, when you were creating your book, I'm curious to whether or not, sometimes when I write, I just make myself type, and I just keep picking it up. But then sometimes when I write, I have an idea for the structure of how I want to do it. Did you just kind of go for it, or did you start with the structure and work backwards?
So, I've been writing for years, and I didn't. This book is not very well. It's structured, but I didn't use a lot. I didn't use much structure with this book.
Well, you said you the whole each chapter is a different one of the major arcana.
There is a structure, but I didn't do a lot of outlining or anything like that. A lot of it just came out.
Right.
I even do a chapter on sort of improvisational writing, because I write my lyrics that way. I do a lot of really trance writing.
Like automatic writing?
That. Yeah. Get myself into trance. This specific one, I just it was weird, almost I was just forced to write a lot of this stuff.
Cool.
Or I had to write it. And I don't always write that way, but there's just a random collection of events that happened where I was I can write a book, and then I started it, and I had the intuition to follow the tarot, and then I just will start writing a chapter and then know when to quit and then move on to the next one. And but I will go back and do editing and stuff. I try to maintain the what was in the mood at the time. I really try to maintain that, but I will go back and sort of make sure that it had good flow and everything and all that. So
it sounds really interesting to me. It definitely sounds like something I'd like to read.
Cool. I'm really excited to publish it, and then I will. It's interesting because each chapter will have one of my songs attached to it too, and I'll have a YouTube playlist for each where you can hear the song that corresponds. I even wrote a couple songs while I was writing the book too. So
nice.
It's sort of weird Aquarian kind of chaos, or I talk about Eris and Discordian stuff, and obviously very inspired by Crowley and all the 20th century kind of stuff, and but honestly in some ways it's just trying to destroy the Christianity within me, basically.
Cool.
Just say all this shit that growing up in Christianity was just took me years to be able to say that the church needs to die, or something like that, so.
I agree. I definitely am all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, try to just I was always inspired by the fact that Crowley would try to say or do things that would make him unforgivable in the eyes of the Christian God. Like he tried to find the thing that would make it. There's no coming back, no matter what. I was inspired by that.
Yeah, like he always inspired me because of how like radical he was, and I really agree that at the end of like the age of Christianity, you gotta really just zig instead of that. You gotta like go in like a totally different direction because like it's so toxic. You gotta just like go towards like accepting atheism or it's weird because I like believe in God in a way that we're all sort of in this one reality and that we're all sort of linked and there's weird psychic stuff, but I'm fully comfortable saying that it's not like any kind of Christian God or anything like that, or I don't know. I don't even care to like nail it down to some specific metaphysical like thing. So
well, there's definitely a connection between things.
Yeah. I believe in synchronicity. I believe in like a weird collective unconscious. I believe that there's like psychic phenomena. There's probably aliens and like, but I think like you can be an atheist and still be like a high quality person and like that the universe doesn't hate you or something like that, so I don't know.
I think that, if anything, the problem with atheism is it doesn't go far enough. Like, I think that the whole idea of uprooting Christianity comes down to uprooting the idea that of absolute truth, or the idea that we're doing more than playing games. Like, that's just my little note.
Well, one of my chapters is about like there's a press conference. I can send you a couple of chapters if.
Please do.
One chapter is like for the devil card, and it's a press conference where the old devil of selfishness is like retiring, and the new devil of religion and belief is being like brought on board and gives this big speech about like how important dogma is and like conformity is just like basically you kind of have to read it to understand, but basically that like I really feel like the new devil is religion on some level, like that all of that kind of thinking is just people can't like it's just important to be free. And all the shame and all the guilt and all the dogma is just like total horrible like chains at this point. And that people can't even be free anymore.
I kind of think that whoever made up these stories forever ago were trying to come up with a better way to help people survive, basically.
Oh, yeah.
But now the institutions they created to help people survive are what's killing people. So, being guided by the principle of like what will help us survive would be a good start, maybe.
Well, I really don't have like I feel like lessons come along and then they expire. That's my belief system. Like that Christianity's just expired on some level. Yeah, like 2,000 years ago, it might have been like helpful for people that were Roman slaves or something like that and just needed something. But now it's like just doesn't. It's totally expired. That's my belief in that. Something new is necessary, which is more freedom oriented, and that probably will expire someday. And I don't know. I mean, it's just. You gotta be free to destroy the past, like when necessary. I believe so, or
Well, so The last question would be, do you have anything that you'd like to include in the article I haven't asked about?
No, those were great questions. I'm also writing a poetry book, separately, and I mean, I've been writing a lot for years. I just decided to actually, like, really collect everything. I've been publishing online a lot with, like, blogs, and I've just decided to really write a book and then put together a poetry collection. And, no, I can't think of anything else, so.
All right, Abby. Thank you for agreeing to the interview.
That was great. It was nice to meet you and talk to you. And I'll send you some links, and if I have some chapters, I'll send it to you for, like, previewing and stuff.
That sounds excellent. And also, if you would send me some photos, maybe of you performing, that would be great too. Higher definition is better, but anything is better than nothing.
Sure. Definitely I'll do that. Definitely.
Okay, cool. Well, this will be published on September 1st. And I'll send you a free copy in the mail if you want. And there's also, it'll be a free online version.
Yeah, can you send me the link to the website?
Sure.
I couldn't find it.
Sure.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Well, have a good night.
You have a good night, too.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.